The video cut off. It's me, Unapologetically T, and I'm back again. That video cut off. But what I was about to say. Oh, so my name is basically nice in Arabic, sweet in French, um, and then white, like my slave masters. Ha. So I will definitely say I love my name. I definitely as a kid did not. I felt like my name was always getting called wrong. The spelling is different. It's not traditional whatsoever, but it doesn't matter. In Arabic, it's about the sound. It is spelled one way in Arabic. Um, so when you're translating amongst different languages, it doesn't matter. It's about the sound. So, but I used to always thought my name was like ghetto, and like I am unlearning. I was talking about this the other day about decolonizing your mind, and I actually let me pause. All right, so I just got this book. This was recommended to me by one of my old students, which I consider her a little sister, but she's like definitely equally yoked with me. She's young, but she's very wise. But it is decolonizing the mind. It might show up like backwards on here. I don't know, but it's by I'm learning Swahili, and I don't know if this is Swahili because I have not came across these words. However, it does seem similar, but it does have like marks that I haven't seen. So I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna say that it's Ngugi wa Tiongo. I don't know if I messed it up. Then I'm sorry because I hate when people mess up names. But I have this gem that I just got. It was recommended to me to read last year, and then she brought it up again, and we was talking about doing like a 3-person book club for it. And so I have my copy, ladies, if you're ready. And if you're not ready, I'm ready to read. I've been trying to get my brain to strengthen with reading. So yeah, I've been definitely working on decolonizing my mind. I used to think a lot of stuff was ghetto, and now I'm like, what? First of all, being ghetto is resourceful. I'm flipping the narrative. We are resourceful. We can make something out of nothing, and that's my superpower. I'm an alchemist. I can take nothing and make something, and that's literally what I'm doing right now with my life. I'm literally being stripped of everything and starting all over again. And I'm going to do it with good as nothing. And I'm going to prove to people, which that's not my purpose, but I just want to show people that you are in control of your own life. And you need to be the change that you want to see. So for me, that's exactly what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. I am definitely decolonizing my mind and my thoughts. I used to put beads in Charlotte hair, but like I used to feel uncomfortable about putting beads in her hair because I was like, oh, it's gonna look ghetto. I used to like, I don't know, it was just certain little stuff like when her little afro puff, because like our hair gets so frizzy so quick. So like when her little afro puffs be getting frizzy, I'd be feeling like her hair was unkept. That's why I made a black girl and her hair, because that was her natural state of her hair. Like, how can I not like it because it doesn't fit what society has told us, which society told us to hate ourselves. So I definitely have been decolonizing my mind with ideologies. Like I used to thought putting color in your hair was ghetto. All that stuff, like just stupid shit. Like I just used to thought stupid shit. Like grills was one for me. Like I talk about this, I think, but grills was one for me. I used to be ashamed to wear my grills around like other people, and that wasn't like me. And come to find out, grills is a representation. Our ancestors, like the natives and the blacks, they used to wear grills as a sign of freedom, like a sign of freedom. So if you had gold in your mouth, baby, when people saw you, they knew you were free. And gold has been in our history since the end of time. So like when you see people wearing chains and stuff that are of different ethnicities, it's because they know the value of gold. And I don't know who believes in what, but like if you look at the Anunnakis, I think they used to use gold a lot. Um, it's just so many. Like you just look back at the Egyptians, like you look back at a lot of cultures. I think even Timbuktu, like just a lot of cultures. Mali was rich. Like gold was important. Gold was very important. So it's just us. Like we are doing what is in our DNA and our blood. Like even though we don't know why we're doing it, we're still doing what our ancestors did, but we're getting taught that it is uncivilized and it is ghetto, and enough is enough. I feel like once I started to learn my name wasn't ghetto, I felt 100% better about myself. Like, and it took a while. Like I used to hate when someone would have, like a teacher or something, like had to call out my name, or like if I'm doing business and somebody over the phone try to pronounce my name. Like I just used to get so many variations that was not close to my name, and I don't know if they was being funny or what, but it felt like it, because I've been called Lizzie one time, and Lizzie is nowhere near what my name is, and I'm like, are you serious? And that's not with them looking at the writing, that's with me saying it. Like I still don't see how you get Lizzie out of my real name, but whatever. It even impacted me naming my daughter. So I don't know, that I love this because this triggered something that's actually worth talking about. So when I got pregnant with my daughter, well, with my first kid was gonna have a ghetto ass name. Like I remember the names I was about to get that kid. It was gonna have a ghetto ass name because I was, back then, like I didn't give a shit. Like I wanted what I wanted, and I wanted to be creative with it. And I felt like I look back on it and it's so dope. Like the 16-year-old me, she knew there was a bunch of bullshit in life, and she was true to herself, and she was honest. Brutally honest. Yeah, she was mean, she was feisty, but she definitely didn't give a fuck. So yeah, my child was gonna have what quote unquote society felt like was a ghetto name, and I didn't care. But when I got older and I had Charlotte, it was like I had got older and I had peeped the game on how society was. So I started to realize, like, what people don't realize, some people do and some people don't, with the job application. With the job application, you can have what society deems as a ghetto name, and you check black on that box and all that stuff, like your application could get thrown away. So, and I've seen this being done. Your application could get thrown away. They prejudge you by your name and ethnicity. So, and yes, we got discrimination laws, but who knows that somebody's doing that if they're not in the room with them? So a lot of people and companies do this. So like if you have a problem getting callbacks sometimes it's because of your goddamn name. And it's sad. It's a crying shame. Then, so I thought about that. And then I thought about, like, if I name her something, you know, that is unique, she don't have to constantly, like, check people. Like, her dad got a strong name, too. He has a real strong name that's, like, African descent, I feel like. But I just wanted different for her. I wanted her to have an easier time with her name. Once again, decolonizing my mind has been a thing I've been doing. So I even thought about, like, her credit score. Like, one of the things that happens with her is sometimes they mix her up with my mom. so sometimes, like, I always start strategically. I thought this before it even happened, but they get her mixed up sometimes with my mom. So, because they have the same exact name. So, like, I just thought about a whole bunch of different, I don't know if you picked that up, but I I thought about a whole bunch of different advantages for her to have a European name. However, I look back on it and I felt like and me saying this, yes, her name was actually not going to be my mom's full name. So her name was going to be Madison at first. And I just loved the name Madison. I thought like it was a last name. It kind of feels like a boy name. And it would be different. And but I realized too, a lot of people was feeling that during that time in 2010. So then I had to look at all these factors of like, my mom was like phenomenal during my pregnancy. Like, she first started out, she was like, I didn't want to be with her. But once she started to realize like she was having a grandbaby and she started to get that excitement, like she was at like, I'm not gonna say she was at my beck and call, because we both were like, we were hustling at that time. Like, she was working as an LPN, so she worked hours. I was in school and working, and so we both were alternating care from my uncle. Like, I would say I would mostly watch him. She would do like the hard stuff, like bathe and stuff like that. I was the type of person, I would feed him, but like if he ain't gonna eat, I ain't forcing him. She would make sure like he would literally like eat. So she did have the harder parts of it. I just was a babysitter. And we exchanged services and stuff like that. So she was really, really there for me. Like, after I gave birth, she would like fix my meals and just stuff like that. Like, I just saw her as this like extreme support in my life. Like, I don't know what I would have did if I did not have my mom, because I did not have him. And my friends literally were doing their own thing, and like they weren't mothers. I did have one friend that was, and then I had another friend that was pregnant with me, but I think like our friendship has started to like fall off. And then the one that did have a kid, like me and her wasn't like real close at the time. And it wasn't no ill will, it's just that we wasn't close at the time. So like I really didn't have anybody but my best friend. She didn't have a kid and she was going through her own stuff, and so it was just me and my mom, and I don't know what I would have did without her. So I started to be like, you know, my mom was up there in age. They had me late. I was like, I could always have another Charlotte. Charlotte is a beautiful name. And then my mom's middle name is like traditional. Like, her whole name is traditional. Like, she sounds like a white woman. like her name literally presents as a white woman on paper. And don't let her do her goddamn telephone voice. If you black, you know. If you black and you grew up in a code switching house, you know. Some black people did not grow up in a code switching house, so I'm not gonna say if you black, you know. And I wouldn't even say my mom code switch. Like, my mom just talks somewhat proper. She's still country, so she still talks somewhat proper, but like some of her words do, you can hear that country in there. But yeah, I wouldn't say she code switch. Like, I would just say she's more of the proper one, whereas I was more of the one who wanted to say D instead of the T, like this instead of this, and she hated it. And then I have a brother that's like that. Like, he also do the same thing. Like, I'm sorry. He speaks with heavy Ebonics. Cause a part of me wanted to say he talks like a slave, but I don't want any white person to see this and feel like that was funny. So I will say this: he talks with heavy African American vernacular. Like, I can go in between both because I always was corrected. So my mom always corrected my speech, so I know how to speak what they would say is proper English, and then I also speak Ebonics fluently because that's what me and my friends spoke. So yeah, but my mom definitely ain't nothing much white about her. She's a little hood gangster to me. But if you met her, like, You'd be like, oh, I don't know, she kind of mean, but she nice. She one of them nice mean people. So I guess that's where I get it from. But yeah, I gave Charlotte her name, and when I was thinking about Charlotte's name, yes, from the beginning, I wanted to give her a white presenting name. Because at first she was just gonna have Madison, my mom's middle name, and then white. Um, I felt like I was not gonna give her her dad's name because he had contributed nothing to the whole process besides his little swimmers, and that just wasn't enough for me. Do I regret that? No, I don't. I love her name. I feel like if something was to happen to my mom, I always have a piece of my mom with me because the little thing acts just like her in certain aspects. Like, she's literally a lot of different personalities and within her family units. So she is 100% herself, but she definitely distributes a lot of characteristics. She even acts like her dad, and she didn't grow up around him. So it'd be funny how Jeans is. So I'll always have a piece of my mom, but I definitely feel like it was like a 50-50 thing, like where I wanted her to have a white presenting name, but I also wanted her to have my mom's name by the time I was in the middle of my pregnancy. So that's how much my mind had been colonized, that she would have a better chance in life if I gave her a proper name. And what the fuck is a proper name? I feel like our names are proper. If it was created now, sometimes people do get creative in ways. Like I've heard a child named Tylenol, and you know, that's your prerogative. I can't judge you. I can't judge you, but you know, I just feel like, what does it matter though? Like, does it really matter? Isn't it about the person? So I feel like a lot of our interactions of being civilized is based off facades. Why am I judging you by your name? Why is that the sole thing that I can initially judge you by before I even meet you, before I even have a real conversation with you? I can judge you by your name. We have left behind, by being colonized, we have left behind our love, our spirituality, our compassion towards people, and we've basically like dressed ourselves up. I call it shit covered gold. No, gold cover shit. So like on the outside, we're all polished, walking around showing our best selves, when in all actuality we is what the fuck we is in the inside. And then people get a shock when they get to see the true you, because you had to hide you. So I just want, I don't know, I went down that rabbit hole. I don't know who needed to hear that about names and stuff, but love your name. I don't give a fuck what your name is. If it's Tylenol, love it. Love it. It's a medication. So yeah, it's a medication that a lot of people need, and it works. Love your name. This is funny. So this one says, who were your closest friends in high school? I feel like if you went to high school with me, then you know, I quote unquote. And it's weird because like I grew up never being that girl that liked a whole bunch of girlfriends. Like I like to be around the niggas. And there's not even on no sexual stuff. Like I just related more to nigga shit. I feel like niggas have fun. Niggas got to climb the trees. Niggas got to, you know, get dirty, like do all the gross stuff that I like to do. And when I say niggas, I mean boys. So I like to be around the boys. I was rough like the boys. I was not dainty like I was small and scrawny, but I wasn't dainty like the girls. But I did grow up playing with girls as well. I just preferred boys. I felt like you didn't have the same, it wasn't the same stuff with playing with girls. Playing with girls is fun in its own other way, but playing with boys is extra fun, like, cause you get to get out some energy, and I had a lot of energy growing up. So like I like the boys. But I think by the time like I got to 8th grade, I started hanging around girls more. I started hanging around girls more. Yikes. Girls are brutal. Girl groups are brutal. I have found in my adulthood, finding your right tribe is so fucking refreshing. Like the stuff I went through in girl groups, like the way they talk about each other, like, and I'm the type of person like I ain't gonna hold you. Like I would judge the shit out of people in the past, and I still do work on that. And but in the past, like I would judge your ass to your face. Like I would say how I felt to your face, and I didn't always think it was inappropriate because I grew up in a household where things were bluntly said, and that's just how it was. So I wouldn't necessarily do it to hurt your feelings, but it was like if I was comfortable with you, like I'm gonna tell you how I feel. And I felt like in girl groups, it was a lot of like drama and he say she say and behind your back. And like I had one friend, God bless her, she used to be like the mastermind of the drama, but I loved her to death. I would say that she was my closest friend I had when I like was in middle school and then went on up. I thought the world of her. Couldn't nobody say shit about her. I won't having it. And basically like I didn't know who she was. I did not know who she was. And to this day I still love her. I still love her dearly and deeply. However, it's like I couldn't trust her with certain stuff or certain situations. It doesn't mean that she's the same person she was when we was kids, but it's just like, you know, what happened, and that's that. But everybody used to tell me like that she wasn't like my real friend, and I ain't believe nobody. Like I believed her. I was drinking the Kool-Aid. But far as like high school, it was me, my best, like this, when I say best friend, because I use that term loosely sometimes, but when I say best friend, like she is like my real best friend. Like far as friends, talking to people, we don't have to talk every day, but we still is like this. She's always been there for me and I've always been there for her, and that's just how it is. Nothing has really made us feel like that's it, or we've never really had a super big falling out about anything that I can really remember. We didn't been mad at each other, of course, but nothing major. So she still is my best friend. So I would say like she's my true one best friend. Like when people be like you get one friend in this life that's just everything, like she meets those marks of that. But yeah, so it was weird with high school. So when I first started going to high school, I actually went to a military school. So I actually picked that goddamn school. And you know why I picked that school? Because I knew I lacked, I knew I was angry, and I knew that I needed something to help me figure shit out. So I said, like, why not go to a military school? Why not go somewhere where I won't be able to be a bitch? And because I was angry at that point, so it was like I thought that would give me like discipline and structure. So like, no, my parents didn't make me go there. It wasn't my parents' choice. Education, I kind of always led the boat with education. But once I got a certain age, so I applied there. My two friends, my two like close girlfriends from middle school, like from 8th grade, they actually applied to go to TJ, and TJ had an IB program, and they went there, and I went to the military school. They went there for like 2 weeks and came over to the military school. It was funny. Like, I don't know what happened, why, but they ended up coming over there to the military school. I don't know why they didn't like it so much, because both of them was like super intelligent. I was too, but like I I wasn't even given the opportunities they was given, because when I got to 8th grade, basically, I was starting at a new school, so the guidance counselor didn't really even know me. So she didn't even give me like a recommendation, where she knew them because they was there from the beginning. So she gave them recommendations for different schools and stuff. She didn't even give me one for that. And I think when I wanted to go to the military school, I had to ask for the application. So I went ahead and just, I was interested in that. I forgot. I think they came to visit or something like that. And it kind of like sold me. A lot of other kids was like, their parents made them go to that school. But my crazy ass chose to go. So, so those two went to another school. So for the first 2 weeks, like, I'm in this new school, new people. It was actually cool because it was a small knit high school. It wasn't a lot like how other high schools had all these students. Like, it was very small. I actually was enjoying it, making different friends and stuff like that. So when I first got there, like, me and my godson's mother, me and her was really close. But then my other two friends came, and one of the friends, she didn't really care for her. So she was like, you're gonna have to choose. And so because I had knew other friend longer, I chose. And I didn't want to choose. It's just that she was, but I feel like looking back on it, she was right though, because the other friend was really messy. So like, she protected her peace. And I felt like, for real, like, I look back at us and I feel like high school us was making great decisions and choices for ourselves. I always chose loyalty for certain situations. So I was like, oh, I knew her longer. Like, it'd kind of be fucked up if I just be like, got a new friend now. I ain't fucking with you. And it wasn't like me and her beef just because I didn't want to be close knit with her. It was just like, I couldn't figure out how to make that work. It was like either or. Like, I felt like I was being pulled 2 different ways. So, yeah. So if she wouldn't have gave me the automatic shoes, I would have definitely stayed closer to her. But so I had her, and we actually rocked off for a long time before she made me choose. And it was always like, I even talk about it when I had to get my abortion. Like, she was always like in the picture. It just wasn't as close as we were. And then I had a friendship circle, which was mixed with guys and girls. And I don't be wanting to name drop, but like, they know who they are. Like, but it was about like, so let me count. I think like at our table it was maybe like 4, and I'm thinking about lunch because we all had different classes. But like at lunch when we sat together, it was probably about like 4 or 5 dudes, and then it was probably about like 4 or 5 girls, and then other people would like come to our tables, and we would do that. Like, we would table hop sometimes, but that was like our clique. And to this day, like, different ones of us are connected to different ones of us. And even with that school, like, I left my 12th grade year, so I didn't graduate from there. I left 12th grade. So even with that school, it was so small knit, like, so everybody know each other anyway, to a certain degree. But like, those probably like was the closest circle of people. So I had quite a few people in my little best friend group. College was funny. College is what like broke everything up. So like, I think by the time I got to college, it had broke all the little friendship circles up. For me, not for everybody, but for me, situation happened. I think I'll talk about that one day, but a situation happened that broke me and the girl from 8th grade up for permanent. Not for permanent, because something else, we did reconnect after I had Charlotte, but then something happened with that, and I kind of just was like, This is the final countdown. And that story is crazy, and it's so speculative. It's a lot of speculation. I can't prove shit, so I never really talked about it much, but I definitely think trauma led me to some fucked up individuals. Like, I was fucked up and I attracted fucked up people, and yeah. But I do want to talk about that story one day. But like, yeah, these little cards weren't that bad. So I think I pulled 3 or 4 cards. I don't remember. 3 or 4. So I don't know. Let's see. This is a good question too. Where did you hang out with your friends, and how did you spend your time together? So in 8th grade, King's Dominion was definitely like our jam. We literally would have season pass and be up there like from morning to night. And yeah, like that was like the summers for us. So I think we did that up until the age that we could probably like work there, and then we kind of slowed up with that. The mall was a big one. Going to the mall, hanging out, getting dropped off. That was big. The movies, that was a good one. Movies, we used to do those all the time. And we just, I don't know, once we got a car though, like we was everywhere. Like we was in all parts of the city once we got a car. And that's one of the things I love. So I talk shit about what my best friend from 8th grade ended up to be. But one thing I can say about her is she knew how to have fun. I love that about her. Like, she was a people's person. So I got to meet a lot of people around the city that I probably wouldn't have met if it weren't for her. I am not a social person, so she definitely like allowed me to come out that little bubble and meet and mingle with people. Like, one thing she gonna do is have a good time. Now, and I mean that like with so much sincerity. Like, I've had some fun with her. Like, had so much fun with her. And yeah, like we knew people in different schools and all that stuff. Like, so I did like that. I probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for her. Cause I don't really socialize like that. So she definitely helped bring me out of my bubble. Even though I'm not a big social person and I'm an introvert, I do not, when I was younger, I did not like, I still don't. I don't like to sit still. I will be at home, but I don't like to sit still. So that's one of the things, like when I knew I was going through depression, like something was wrong, was when I started wanting to sleep all the time and I didn't want to do stuff anymore. Like, that's how I knew I really was going through depression. Because